What's poppin'? Welcome back to Midwest World. I want to introduce y'all to Midwest Talks Boxing. All right, new show that I'm putting on this channel here. You know what I mean? So all the boxing gaming content lie at. So why not talk boxing? You know, recaps. You know what I mean? I'll do some lives of me watching the fight. You know what I'm saying? And giving y'all my I guess you want to say my analysis. You know what I mean? But the first one I'm gonna do is the Jake Paul and Tank Davis fight. But I gotta do it, you know what I mean? So no, I'm not gonna be able to recap every fight that exists, you know what I mean, and things like that. But I wanna talk boxing because I love the sport, you know what I mean? It's one of my favorite sports. It's 1A, 1B, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to basketball. I've always loved boxing. Always loved boxing. You know, I respect boxing. Everything about boxing. You know, I love boxing. You got to be a warrior to participate in boxing. You got to be disciplined to participate in boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the best sports ever, man. Straight up. You know what I mean? I respect it and I love it. So I want to talk it now. I'm not gonna be like Teddy Atlas, the great Teddy Atlas, Max Kellerman, Paulie Malignaggi, Tim Bradley. I'm not as seasoned and decorated as those guys when it comes to talking boxing, but I will do the best I can. I look at those guys, and those are some of my favorite, analysts. You know what I mean? My favorites. I listen to Teddy Atlas, great. You know what I mean? Max Kellerman, I'm glad he's back with Ring Magazine now. Paulie Malignaggi, I check out his channel all the time. Tim Bradley, I check out his channel all the time. You know what I mean? I watch Pro Box TV. And I actually, like how Roy Jones break down, fighting too. You know what I'm saying? I just love boxing. So, this is where all the boxing gaming content lie at, you know what I mean? So it's mainly a gaming channel, but we do have the show now here. So, because I love gaming. So, I love boxing games. So you will see a lot of boxing here, you know what I'm saying? Now, there's not that many boxing games. Like, you got Undisputed now, but, boxing games is thin, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like NBA or NFL, or like 2K or Madden, you know what I'm saying? Or even live, you know what I mean? You don't have that many boxing games. So in order for me to create a lot of boxing content, I'm doing exhibition matches along with full career playthroughs. So I should bring you a lot of boxing. I don't play online because I can't deal with trolls. That's not my thing. I know some people can deal with it, not me. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand the whole talking crazy behind keyboards and stuff, man. I can't deal with trolls, so I just avoid online, you know what I mean? So that's just my style. It is what it is. Now, let's get to the topic at hand here. My favorite boxers of all time. Now, this is in no order, so when I list this, you know what I mean? I don't need it. What? Look, I'm just telling you my favorite boxers of all time. Like, for me personally, for me watching boxing, and I got that feel, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is my dog right here, you know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. And I've been watching boxing since, and I went back and I go back and watch old fights too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not some dude that's not gonna go back and watch old fights because I was born in if I can get a hold of stuff, I'm gonna watch it. I got right now I got Zab Judah's whole boxing collection. All his majority of his fights, right? I'm about to get I'm thinking of getting Andre Ward next. I'm trying to get every fighter, you know what I mean? Honestly, their whole collection and watch it. So we're gonna be covering a lot of fights, past fights, present fights, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna be covering Zab. I'm gonna start covering Zab real soon, so stay tuned for that. But this is in no order. So my one is Floyd Mayweather Jr. And initially, I wasn't big into Floyd like that initially, you know what I'm saying? But when I sat down and watched him fight, I'm like, this dude is really great, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really, I like his style is like, he make boxing look like art, especially with his defense. You know what I'm saying? The counter punching. I love the pull counter. One of my favorite punches ever of all time. That might be my favorite punch, the pull counter. I like it straight right. I like the Philly shell defense. I like all that. Floyd is one of the best boxers of all time. And a lot of people feel like he don't punch hard. right? But when you sharp and accurate, that right there is that right there can, you know, that breaks you down. You get hit in the same spot over and over again with sharp accuracy, it's gonna wear it down, have it sore, it's gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it may not be one punch knockout power, but that's just as bad. That's just getting broke down is just as bad as getting knocked out. You know what I mean? So, you know, it is what it is, man. But Floyd, one of the best technically sound boxers I've watched. You know what I mean? You know, so he's one of my favorites. You know, I have a lot of his fights. You know what I'm saying? I don't have all of his fights. I have a lot of his fights though. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have all of them. But Floyd, yeah, I watch. He amazing boxer. So, you know, I don't let me personally, I don't let personality get in the way of things. I know some people, they get really wrapped up into these athletes, you know what I'm saying? And just, I don't know Floyd Mayweather. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, his skills is what I'm watching. I don't know him personally. If he talking crazy on the camera, he talking crazy on the camera. That don't take away how great he is, you know what I mean? So, I think Floyd is one of the best, you know what I'm saying? One of my personal favorites. He's one of my personal favorites. I do feel like he's one of the best boxers ever though, personally, you know what I mean? All right, so next, Zab Judah. Zab Judah got skills, man. He just, you know, Zab, honestly, man, like he nice. It's just, you know, he has some, you know, setbacks, but nobody's perfect, okay? You know, it take a lot of discipline, you know what I'm saying? And Zab can seem undisciplined sometimes, you know what I mean? And he done took some losses that he probably shouldn't have, but you know, it is what it is. It happens. It's boxing, you know what I'm saying? I wish he was more so, I wish he focused more, I wish he had more focus on defense too. I do. You know what I mean? I really do. You know what I mean? But I think Zab had all the tools. He's still one of the coldest boxers. I mean, Zab is official. He's just, you know, I don't think he reached his full potential, right? And we gonna cover his career. We gonna cover it from top to bottom, dog. Like, we gonna cover it, you know what I'm saying? Well, the fights I do have, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna cover early on to the end. I'm being honest about it. But just, this the thing. You don't have to be a perfect fighter for me to rock with you. Like, you lose a fight, that don't mean I'm not a fan no more. I'm not fickle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? If you one of my favorites, you stay that way. I'm not about to sit here and be switching up and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because you done took an L. You know what I mean? Zab dope, man. I've always watched. Whenever a Zab fight is on, I tune in, I watch. You know what I mean? And I just, you know, I think he could have been one of the best of all time if he had more discipline, Zab Judah. But, you know, he didn't. So, you know, it is what it is, but that don't take away. I still feel like, you know, skill for skill, he can box with anybody. You know what I mean? Skill for skill, Zab can box with anybody. You know, he not getting washed by nobody, skill for skill. You know what I mean? In his weight, so in his weight class. So, you know, and I stand on that. You know what I mean? A focused Zab can step in the ring with anybody and can possibly win. I just wish he was more focused on defense too. You know what I mean? And was more disciplined too. You know what I mean? But Zab Judah, one of my favorites. All right. Shakur Stevenson. Right now, he's my favorite boxer, like, currently. You know what I mean? Like, Shakur Stevenson. I love his style. Love his style. Defense first, accurate. Man, listen. Similar to Floyd, but different. It's not the same, but it's similar. You know what I'm saying? Like, very similar fights. I love the tactical side of and the fans say he's boring. I really hate that because I don't think Shakur Stevenson's boring. I like to watch the beauty of the tactical fighting. You know what I'm saying? He be standing right in front of you, you can't hit him. That's crazy. You know what I mean? His style is amazing to me. You know what I'm saying? He got a very artsy style when it comes to boxing. I rock with Shakur Stevenson heavy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm going back currently watching old fights of his now. You know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson is my favorite boxer, like, right now, currently to date. You know what I'm saying? He is my favorite, 100%. Like, I love watching him fight. You know what I'm saying? I think he is very skilled, and his skill set now, he can compete with anybody due to the fact he's defense first. Defense first. Those guys are very hard to compete, but they can also compete with anybody because they focus on their defense, and he's very aware, like very aware, very twitchy. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to defense. Now, I'm not gonna say it's like Floyd yet. I'm not gonna say that, but if you watch him, man, he is aware in that ring. You know what I'm saying? So Shakur Stevenson, man, I think is one of the best boxers in the game. I think he got the potential to be one of the greatest of all time. We got to see, though. You know what I mean? It's early in his career still. So, you know, he's my favorite, you know, currently to date. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the new guys, he's my favorite. But, you know, we're going to see where his career end up at. But, you know, he got the skill set to be one of the best boxers to do it. He just got to stay focused and locked in. Never know what can happen. Never know what can happen. You know what I'm saying? But Shakur Stevenson is fire, okay? Shakur Stevenson, one of my favorites. Paul Williams. Paul the Punisher Williams, man. I was hurt when he got paralyzed. He was supposed to fight Canelo, which is, you know, the thing is, it's ironic, you know what I'm saying, that he's one of my favorite boxers because he has absolutely no defense at all. But when I seen him, I'm trying to remember when I first seen him fight. It was Sergio Martinez when I first seen him fight. And I ran across that fight by accident. I was watching it, and I'm like, man, who's this? Look at Paul Williams, Sergio Martinez was fighting, and they had a great fight. But I liked Paul Williams' style. I liked his style. He was tall, skinny, threw 1,000 punches a fight. And he just took it to you. He took it to you. You know what I'm saying? No matter who you was, he took it to you straight up. You know what I'm saying? Paul Williams, I'm like, man, and then, you know, me being, you know, tall, you know, I was skinny. I'm not skinny now, but I used to be a tall, skinny person like that. So I kind of resonated, you know what I'm saying, with Paul Williams because I'm, about 6'3", you know what I'm saying? And I used to be skinny in a mug, man, growing up. So I'm like, oh, man, you know, so I kind of resonated with him there. But I watched his fights. I watched him against Winky Wright, how he did Winky Wright. I'm like, dang, Winky Wright was barely throwing punches, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Paul Williams, you know, though he had glaring problems on defense. Glaring, I cannot lie. Like, you know, I'm like, ooh, he fighting Canelo, but I'm like, ooh, he's like, yeah, he gonna throw a lot, but due to the fact he's throwing like Canelo is a great counterpuncher, he was gonna probably put Paul Williams down. I'm gonna be honest, you know what I'm saying? Love Paul Williams. I was been rooting for Paul Williams, but he probably would have put Paul Williams down, man, because you know, he has no defense, dog. Like none. You know what I mean? And a style like Paul Williams is made for Canelo, to be honest. It's made for him. You know what I'm saying? He's like tailor-made for Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? So he probably would have put him down real, like, I ain't gonna say quick, but he'd have put him down because, yeah, you know, Paul Williams was thin. You know what I'm saying? And then he threw a lot. No focus on defense. Canelo would have put him down. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? But anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? You got to fight first to find that out. But, you know, he probably got set down by Canelo, man. But he got paralyzed, man, before the fight. I was hurt by that, man. I'm like, man, that's some BS, man. But messed up things happen, man. But Punisher, one of my favorite boxers of all time. You know what I'm saying? Paul Williams, even though he had no defense. No defense. You know what I'm saying? But you had to get through them punches, though, as well. You know what I mean? So in order to hit him, you got to get through, you got to counter him. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Paul Williams is one of my favorites. All right? And then, finally, Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins. Man, the executioner, a.k.a. the alien, Bernard Hopkins. Dog, man, look. Bernard Hopkins is one of the greatest boxers of all time. Period. Though his style wasn't the prettiest, he'd make fights look ugly, but Bernard Hopkins, fire, okay? My first fight watching Bernard Hopkins was against Antoine Echoes when he got slammed in the ring. And I'm trying to think who was on that card that night. Because I used to just be up watching HBO boxing by myself. While my mom's upstairs, I had to be downstairs just watching boxing. Whenever boxing came on HBO, I just watch it by myself. when I was a kid, just watching. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who's on the card. I just tune in and watch it. You know what I'm saying? So I ran across Antoine Echols and Bernard Hopkins. And that's when Antoine Echols slammed Bernard Hopkins in the ring. I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. Do I feel like Bernard Hopkins was putting a little sauce on that slam? 100%. 100% feel like he was putting a little sauce on it. 100%. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Try to get more time. I don't care. Nobody say I believe 100% he was putting a little more sauce on that slam, dog. 100%. But look, man, Bernard Hopkins, man, one of the greatest. He's one of the greats. I think he's one of the greats. I was happy when he beat Felix Trinidad. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, Bernard Hopkins, his story is great. You know what I'm saying? When he talks boxing, it's amazing. I love hearing him talk boxing. I mean, Bernard Hopkins, just look, man. You know, if there's a graffiti painting on the concrete, on the bricks, you know what I mean? And with great boxers, Bernard Hopkins got to be up there. You know what I'm saying? Historically, is one of the best boxers of all time. I do feel that way. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Golden Boy, De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, and them. I don't care about all that. Bernard Hopkins is one of the illest boxers ever to do it. You know what I'm saying? Point blank, period, man. One of the greatest of all time. And I try to watch all of his fights. I have not watched every single Bernard Hopkins fight, but the objective is to watch every single Bernard Hopkins fight that at least aired. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm gonna be covering him too. I'm covering everybody. You know what I'm saying? So everybody I can cover. But Bernard Hopkins is one of the greats. I mean, it's not much to say about Bernard Hopkins, man. Just Google Bernard Hopkins. You'll know what it is. You know what I mean? Like, B-Hop, 100%, you know, one of the great boxers to ever lace gloves up. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest to ever lace gloves up. You know what I mean? So I respect Bernard Hopkins heavily. And like, he's probably, if Bernard Hopkins, okay, is like, he was my favorite boxer, like, for a very long time, like my favorite over everybody. You know what I'm saying? Now, Bernard Hopkins, his defense, he got like a weird, like, it's not a fancy looking defensive style like a Floyd Mayweather or Shakur Stevenson, but he got decent defense. It's not like super elite, but it's good though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it, you know, but he was my favorite for a very long time, like top of the list type stuff. But you know, I started looking at Floyd Mayweather and it's like, yeah, I love Floyd's style, but that don't mean like B-Hop not my favorite. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, when you discover more boxers, then it's like, oh, okay, then you start seeing certain things and stuff. So yeah, but those are my favorite boxers right there. You know what I'm saying? Those are my favorite, like, etched in stone favorites. Like, you know what I mean? If I had a team of boxers that I'm going to the foxhole with, or take my 5 boxers, I'm gonna roll with them. Like, as far as weight classes go, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I do now heavyweight boxing. You know, I love the heavyweights, but, you know, none of those guys is necessarily my favorites. You know what I'm saying? Even though I watch heavyweight boxing and stuff like that back when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? But Lennox Lewis was cold, man. Lennox Lewis, George Foreman, all them guys. You know what I'm saying? I like Lennox Lewis, like George Foreman. Obviously, Muhammad Ali, I rocked with him heavy. You know what I'm saying? I rocked with Hakeem Rockman heavy. Even though he wasn't like the greatest, I did rock with Hakeem Rockman. I did like his style. I just felt like he could have been more disciplined, Hakeem Rockman, okay? Mike Tyson, you know, I wish he would have beat Better Comp, but that's a discussion for another day. I know people feel sometimes, when you say things like that when it comes to Mike Tyson, and people are like, hold on, you tripping. I'm like, no, whenever he has the mega match, he loses. You know what I'm saying? You fall Holyfield lost. Lennox Lewis lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that wasn't scared of him, he lost. When Buster Douglas got over whatever, he lost to him. But that's discussion for another day. Mike Tyson, obviously legend in the game and all that stuff, but when he fought against people on his level, he lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know what else to say to that. You know what I mean? But, you know, I probably, if you want to say one of my favorite heavyweights, I would say my favorite heavyweight I like Lennox Lewis a lot, man. It's just he didn't have no chin, bro. He didn't have no chin, man. You tap that chin, he's out of there, man. 100%. But Lennox Lewis was cold though. I rock with Lennox Lewis heavy. You know, I'm not about to sit there and lie to you and tell you Muhammad Ali is my favorite boxer or nothing like that. I'm not about to sit there and cap. But I do like Muhammad Ali. I do rock with Muhammad Ali for other reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially, you know, that he rolled with Malcolm X tough. You know what I mean? Things like that. And I'm a big Malcolm X guy. Listen to his speeches and things like that. And I like, you know, hearing Muhammad Ali talk. Muhammad Ali was cold to me. I just didn't like his defense. Oh, I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? I did not like that. I did not like the rope-a-dope strategy. I didn't like nothing. I wish he had some defense up, like better defense. I get that he can dodge your stuff, but you know, still, I rocked with Ali, but I kind of more so like a defensive first style. That's just me though. You know what I'm saying? That's me. Those type of fighters I really like the most. The defense first guys, the really technical fighters, you know what I'm saying? Those guys, even though on my list, you see who you see. I think Zab is technical. He just wasn't disciplined like that, but he's a tactician to me. Floyd is a tactician. Shakur is a tactician. Bernard Hopkins, he's a tactician, okay? Now, Paul Williams wasn't. I would say he was a brawler, but still he's one of my favorites. But for the most part, I like tacticians, all right? Now, you could say Muhammad Ali's a tactician. You say that. But it's just his style. I didn't care much for his style. I'm not gonna sit there and get over here and lie to y'all just because it's the great Ali. Muhammad Ali is a great. He's one of the greats. You know what I mean? But he wasn't my favorite boxer. I went back and watched fights. He's one of my favorite boxers, but I rock with him heavy. 100% respect him. Tough as nails. You know what I'm saying? He can back up everything he talk. You know what I mean? Back up everything. But he's just not one of my favorites of all time. But he is just because you're not one of my favorites, that don't mean you're not one of the greats. He's just, you know, his style didn't resonate with me like that. But Ali is the truth. You know, I love him for different reasons, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, what he stood for, all that, I rock with him heavy, man. Heavy, you know what I'm saying? You know, him and Malcolm X is pretty much on my cover of my project I'm working on, you know what I'm saying? You know, so I love Ali for different reasons, and it's not just boxing. So, you know what I mean? But he is one of the greats of all time, one of the greatest, period, point blank. That's not to be disputed. You know what I mean? But, yeah, but, you know, heavyweight boxing, I watch it, but none of those guys really my favorites ever. You know what I'm saying? They're not, you know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. But, yeah, hopefully people tune into the show. It will get better with time. You know what I'm saying? Give me some time. You know what I mean? But I'm going to do the best I can here. You know what I mean? I'm always going to do the best I can to give you 100% effort. You know what I mean? So I want to give, you know, guys I look up to, you know, Teddy Atlas, Timothy Bradley, Paulie Malignaggi, you know what I'm saying? Max Kellerman, those guys. I love hearing them talk. I listen to them talk boxing for hours and hours and hours. All right? So, you know, that's my motivation right there. You know what I'm saying? No, will I be as great as those guys? Absolutely not. But I'm going to do the best I can, man. So big salute to everybody. Make sure you sub to both channels to get all the gaming content, to get all the get the Tubecast and then Midwest Talks Boxing. All right, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the content. Greatly appreciate it from everybody. Peace.